Okay, so I want to finish off today with a bit trickier question. So let's simplify x squared minus 14x plus 49 all over 3x minus 21. So remember we said that you should always factorize the top and bottom first. At the moment, top is a bit scary, so let's just leave that alone. We can easily factorize the denominator because 3x and 21 have a common factor of 3. And what's left over is just x minus 7. Now we have to go back to the scary looking numerator. If you didn't do factorizing quadratic trinomials, if you did factorizing quadratic trinomials, you would now just do the plus b times ac method. If you didn't, well, what could you do? Now it's going back to recognizing patterns. So remember a few lessons back when we said, oh, hey, remember these patterns of if you have something squared minus something else squared, you can write that as bracket, 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 first plus second, and then first minus second. The other patterns we were looking at were if you had something first plus second all squared, then you end up with first thing squared plus 2 lots of first times second plus the second thing squared, b squared. And then the third pattern we looked at was a minus b all squared. So first minus second all squared gives you first squared minus 2 lots of first times second plus the second thing squared. Now you're asking yourself, well, what pattern 1, 2, or 3 does my numerator look like? Well, it's clearly not pattern 1 because it's not just first thing squared minus second thing squared. And the other thing you notice that 49 is 7 squared, right? So the question is, well, is it not pattern number 2 or pattern number 3? Because A, you have x squared plus b squared, you have 7 squared here. Now the question is your inside 2ab or negative 2ab? Would that give you negative 14x? Well, if you think about it, negative 2 times a, our a here would be x because it's a squared. So it's times x times 7 because 7 squared is 49. So your b value is 7. So does negative 2 times x times 7 give you negative 14x? Yes, it does, which is what my inside part is. So this matches up with pattern number 3 where you have x squared minus 2 lots of ab, so 2 lots of 7 lots of x, which gives you negative 14x, and that matches up, plus b squared, so 7 squared is 49. So that tells us that we can factorize the numerator into bracket, something all squared, first thing, which is x, minus second thing, which is 7, because 49 is 7 squared. So we can use pattern 3 to factorize the top. Now, how does this help us? Well, x minus 7 all squared is technically x minus 7 times x minus 7 in brackets, because you're multiplying 2 or more terms. And then you go, well, hey, look, are there anything in common top and bottom? Are there any common factors top and bottom? Well, there's one lot of x minus 7 and one lot of x minus 7, which I can cancel off. So all that I'm left behind is x minus 7 on top all over 3. You don't need brackets on the top x minus 7 because you're not multiplying anymore. It's just one lot of x minus 7, and so you're left with that. So that's why this one's a bit tricky, because you need to remember the 3 patterns we talked about a few lessons ago, or alternatively, if you actually went and did the trinomials, the quadratic trinomials, the year 10 stuff, then you would much more easily factorize x squared minus 14x plus 49 using the plus b times ac method, because your a value would be 1, your b value would be negative 14, and then your c value would be 49. So then you would say, well, you are thinking of 2 numbers that add to be negative 14 and multiply to be 49. Well, 7 times 7 is 49, and then negative 7 plus negative 7 gives you negative 14, so that you could factorize it to be x minus 7, x minus 7. So, I mean, it's a matter of which one's easier for you. But definitely, this is a very tricky, complex question.